Welcome to Conversations in the Coop. I'm your host, Trinity Director of Athletics, Drew Galbraith. My pleasure to be joined today by a captain on Trinity's men's golf team, Ben Boyd. Ben, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Ben, we're going to talk a little bit about where your golf career started, where it's gone since you've been at Trinity, but you have the sometimes rare opportunity to be playing college golf in your hometown, or at least a few feet away from your hometown. So you grew up in West Hartford, and how many other West Hartford natives do you know who are either here just as students or as athletes?
There's probably, I would say 6 to 8 kids alone that came from my high school at Trinity. But growing up in West Hartford, everyone knows about Trinity. Everyone knows like what it stands for and the academics and athletics you get with it. So within my 4 years, I think I've probably come across 10 kids from either West Hartford or Avon Old Farms, where I went to high school.
So, growing up in West Hartford, older sister, younger brother, was it one of those, competitive sibling households?
Yeah. So I come from a very competitive household. Sister was playing soccer her entire life, and then my brother and I played hockey our entire life. My dad played hockey in college at Union, so we always had that competitive aspect. I think my sister and I had a different dynamic than my brother and I had. She and I have more of like the older sister, younger brother dynamic, and my brother and I kind of see eye to eye and try and best each other and everything. So it was very competitive growing up, for sure.
So, much like a lot of Connecticut kids, hockey a little bit in the blood in your family. You just mentioned your dad played hockey at Union. So, was that the first love?
Yeah, hockey was definitely the first love. I started when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and as the years went on and I got to high school and kind of saw my my hockey career fade away slowly, I transitioned into golf and haven't looked back since.
So if that was like 7th, 8th, 9th grade-ish, that hockey, you start kind of seeing that. How much golf were you playing at that point?
I think the occasional golf camp in the summer. We were members at Wampanoag Country Club in West Hartford, so around 6th grade, I started like really begging my parents to drop me off in the morning and just leave me there all day. So I think 6th grade, 7th grade-ish was when I started getting good and started, stopped caring about hockey and kind of putting all my focus into golf.
So was there a moment where you started to think that not only do you like doing this, but I could be pretty good at this? Was that a middle school? Was that sometime in high school? Was there a moment where it really clicked for you?
So I didn't really play much competition growing up in terms of like tournaments around the 6th and 7th grade age. The tournaments I did play, and I played pretty well, but it was mainly the playing with my friends at Wampanoag or playing with the adults or getting asked by 50-year-old guys to go play in their Friday games where I just like saw I could kind of hold my own. So it wasn't like the aha moment of, wow, I'm gonna be a college golfer, but I think it was okay, I'm better than I am at hockey and golf, so let's focus on this and see where it goes.
So talk about those, I'm imagining they're mainly summer days where you're getting dropped off 7 in the morning and maybe not getting picked up till the sun's starting to go down. A lot of formal instruction, or were you really just like watching things and trying to learn yourself and copying other people's swings?
Yeah, so I think one of the things I take pride on is that I'm self-taught. I've taken the occasional like lesson here or there, but very little instruction. Growing up, I would sit on the range at Wampanoag and just watch people's swings that I thought were, I guess, good at the time, and try and mimic them, watch YouTube videos, watch golf on TV, and I mean, looking back, my swing, I always joke around that like my swing was horrible in my like 6th or 7th grade, and then just by watching videos and stuff, you kind of make minor tweaks. So yeah, I think one of the things I'm proud about is that I'm self-taught, and there was no one pushing me to play golf just because I came from a hockey family. I was the first to play golf. Like my dad isn't very good, my brother's not very good. There's no
Even
one
with
to
a hockey background.
Yeah, there's no one to base my game off of, so there wasn't that pressure of excellence right away.
Do you think that makes it easier for you when, if a particular shot isn't going or a particular club's giving you trouble because you basically made these adjustments on your own your whole life, does it make it easier for you to shift out of some of those barriers at times and just try something different?
Yeah, I think when I'm hitting, shots that I'm unhappy with, it is technical sometimes, but it's 90% of it's mental, and it's, something that went wrong in like the pre-shot or the thought process of the routine. So there's not like, once you get to the collegiate stage, it's not that your swing is off or anything. It's minor tweaks that you can make mid-round, which is nice.
So you're at Avon Old Farms for high school. At what point did you both think playing college golf would be something that would be fun, but also when did Trinity kind of come into the conversation?
So my cousin Jack Steckler, he was 3 years older than I am, so he was a senior, or he was a freshman in college when I was in high school, around sophomore year, and he invited me to come and visit him, and it was one of the most fun times I've had at Trinity to this day. And I think right around the time where he switched from hockey to golf focus was when I was like, okay, I'm going to do the same thing. And so, like I said, being from West Hartford, Trinity is always on the radar, but I think being able to golf my way into a school I probably couldn't get into academically, or a school that is prestigious in its academics, was a goal of mine. And Jack being there and being the captain my freshman year, and making my college transition the easiest it possibly could have been, was something that it was like I would have loved to do, and I would have probably been pretty bummed out if I passed up on it.
Did you have any? I mean, obviously he was kind of encouraging you to come. Did you have any conversations about what it's going to be like? Did you spend a lot of time together in summers, things like that? Or
yes, I mean his experience for most of it was COVID, so it wasn't necessarily the experience everyone wishes for, but being super close, I was able to, when I'm practicing at Tumblebrook, where I'm now a member at, that's Trinity's home course, so I could see how the golf team interacted with each other when I was just playing with my buddies. There wasn't a lot of pressure, no. Like, we never really talked about, like, you need to come to Trinity, I'm here. It was never that. It was all me wanted to go play with them, and it was the best experience for the first year.
So you probably growing up, you probably played some things at Trinity's rink, over on New Britain Avenue. You'd kind of come. Was there anything about staying close-ish to home for college that concerned you?
No, you really, when you're in Hartford, or I guess on campus alone, you have no really sense of how close I am to home. I guess when you're going to grab food or going out with your friends and you're going to the same places that you went to growing up, you kind of have that, remembrance of how close you are. But there really wasn't a deciding factor of, I want to stay close to home. I mean, I went to high school, and I lived at my high school. That was 15 minutes to the left of my house, and I went to college 15 minutes to the right of my house. So it's not much like I've stayed pretty neutral around this area. So I love it.
So is there a place that we'll do a little West Hartford insider question here? Is there a place that you love from growing up in West Hartford that your either college teammates, friends at Trinity just don't get and they're not into? Like, is there one local place like that, or is there pretty good consistency of the places that you like that they've found as well?
Yeah, I think the big place everyone loves is Sparrow, the restaurant Sparrow, but I'm loyal to Brico.
Yeah.
That's the place that I'll never be persuaded against.
As a West Hartford resident, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Brico is the best by far. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything that people disagree on. There's great restaurants, bars, food, local food, so it's great.
We're kind of a Savoy family too.
Savoy's great too.
So
Savoy.
Anyway,
I would take Savoy too.
So talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about your kind of time here on the golf team at Trinity. talk about that transition from golf at Old Farms and kind of in the summers to being on a college team where now you just, your college play is some unbelievable weather in the fall, but sometimes you get rainy weekends, and then a relatively short but exciting season in the spring. And how'd that transition go for you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I remember not struggling with, but I remember like it being an eye-opener was coming senior year, I'm the leader of the team in high school, and then being a freshman, I'm now looking up to people who are leaders. So I think there wasn't a dynamic that made the dynamic of the golf team at Trinity my freshman year made it super easy for everyone. There was no, everyone was kind of just friends with everyone. It was super fun and everyone got along. But I think high school golf really taught me how to play in different weathers. And I mean, I remember one of our first two of our first like 4 or 5 tournaments at Avon one was snowing and one was hailing. And it's not one of those sports where you kind of just wrap it up and you cancel it. So we played in it, and it kind of goes to show at Trinity that the spring season for the March and April is all rain and cold weather, and that's where we performed best last year. So it's great practice. I think the transition was great, and yeah.
So there's been a culture from the time that Coach Youngie was playing here, where it's a group of guys, a group of young men who really love the game of golf, love talking about it. I still have memories of one of my first years at Trinity 8 years ago, where the team finished up playing 18 holes and had about a 45-minute drive back to the Airbnb where they were staying, and the team asked the coaches to stop and hit balls and then get dinner and just talk more golf and watch golf on TV. Is that still the culture? Is it just like a golf-centric culture?
Yeah, Youngie just gets it. Like he's young enough where he's lived our experiences in today's day and age. Like he knows that there's the golf side, but then there's also the life side and the social side of college, and he makes it so that it doesn't feel like it's an obligation, but that we have it the best out of everyone. Like you get to go play golf for your sport, and there's no punishment to playing bad golf besides playing more golf. Right. So he does a great job in the dynamic of the team. The car rides are tons of fun, and I always tell like the people who are always interested in Trinity that it's very rare to find a coach that is this young. Usually you look around the NESCAC and they're all in their late 50s, 60s, and maybe even 70s, and you just wonder what their dynamic. Like, do they talk on the bus?
Right.
And we are, chatting the entire way, talking about college football, fantasy football, you name it. So the dynamic is very, it's like a hockey. We run it kind of like a hockey team where everyone's just, hanging out and
a lot of banter.
Exactly.
So as you've gone through, you've had a lot of success. You've won a bunch of tournaments as a college golfer. How do you maybe put that into context when you go and play in summer tournaments? Does it give you a realization that I'm going to have the opportunity to do this at a high level for a long time, wherever you choose to do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it actually is the flip-flop. I think the summer golf tournaments really gave me an eye-opener of like, okay, like I can compete if I can compete with these guys, then I can compete with the collegiate level and vice versa, both ways. It gives you confidence. Like I didn't have a great fall season last year, but hung around, and then I had a great season my spring semester last year. Which led into the first tournament of this summer, which was my only tournament, where I lost in a playoff to this guy Cody Palladino, who played at, I think, Baylor and on the Latin America tour. So you kind of get a realization where it doesn't matter where you play, everyone's great golfers. And once I kind of had that attitude of just go have fun and play golf and stop trying to win the tournament right off the bat, I started winning a couple tournaments and had a great rest of the season.
Can you put into context for people who watch our podcasts and they might understand their sport at Trinity at the D3 level? But if you're playing high-level D3 golf like Trinity does, Trinity was national ranked all of last year, always in the mix to win tournaments, winner of the tournament's probably going to be under par. Very rarely is it an over par score, and the team scores oftentimes are right around par for counting 4 golfers out of 5. But maybe put that into context of just to help people understand how good the level of play is. And
Yeah,
the
the level of play is unbelievable. For example, this past weekend, the winning score was 7 under.
For 2 rounds.
For 2 rounds, there were a couple 6 unders. We had 2 kids on our team. One shot 4 under, one shot 3 under. So, I mean, these courses aren't easy. You're playing 6,800 yards. Wind, it rained the entire time this past weekend. So, this was our 3rd time in my Trinity career so far that we've, as a team, shot under par both days, which is unheard of. Usually, the team scores are a little bit over par, but the winning scores are always individually under par. So yeah, it's all 90% of, or maybe not 90, but a good percentage of the college golfers could play D1. They play D3 to get the small school vibe and everything that I chose to play D3 for, but it's much more fun dynamic. I think I have way more fun playing college D3 golf than, you know, the top amateur tournaments, just because everyone's there to have fun and there's not as much, you know, pressure and stuff. So.
Well, and it's a great way to spend a weekend. If you're playing D1, it's all Mondays and Tuesdays away from campus. So, just a little bit more on. We can never give Coach Youngie enough compliments. So a little bit more on that. So Jack obviously was a 4-year player here, also on the hockey team. But then his senior year, he was on teams that went to back-to-back NCAAs, and his senior year they finished 10th in the country. So a little bit more on this kind of young wonder kid who's leading the program.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the leg up on me. I've yet to be a NESCAC champion. So, first off, he's a great golfer. So it's not someone you have that if I ask him to take a video of my swing and let me know, I'm getting advice from a guy who I actually would take advice from. And he knows his stuff. He loves golf. All he does is talk golf, and he's the first one at TPC with all the drills set up. You just have to show up. You don't have to do anything except for just partake in the drills. He gets it. That's the only way I could kind of describe it as, is that he's the perfect, like, I remember when Coach Greason was switching over to mainly hockey, and there was the thought of, a new coach coming in, and there was the search committee for the coach, and we were like, Youngie's the coach for the golf team. So he's awesome. He's great, and it's nice. You can talk to him about anything. Like, I talked to him about personal life stuff, and I talked to him about golf and our round of golf and 9 holes in the pouring, you name it. So it's great.
So as you're getting close to the end of your Trinity career, is there a chance you just see where golf can take you for a little while?
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, like last year after I had a really good season, I was like, okay, the what ifs, give it a shot. But it kind of depends on the end of the season of this year, especially with where I can kind of apply for jobs, and if I get a job. My uncle, father, grandparents are all pushing me to just give it a shot, and they kind of say that why rush something that you're going to be in for the next 40 years. So if I went into it and turned pro, it would be all out, but it is nice seeing there's a couple guys in the recent years, like you mentioned on the team in 2019, who are pro right now. One's playing pretty well. A couple are playing pretty well.
Yeah.
So there's people to lean on within the Trinity golf community for pro, but we'll see. I mean, it's so hard to make it, but amateur golf tournaments are unbelievable too.
Right.
So,
and so it's not as if you're not going to be playing golf.
It's not like I'm gonna just put the clubs away in the closet.
Right.
So.
Well, that's Ben. We love seeing you do it. Obviously, the golf will also take you places professionally in a non-golf career, with the networking opportunities and everything else. So is that in some ways it almost feels harder than if you played soccer or basketball, where you got to kind of go all in and maybe have a chance. So does that factor in too, that you can play high level amateur tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the beauties and things that, you know, also kind of sucks about golf, professional golf, is that you are an independent contractor. There's no one backing you except for yourself. So the low end tournaments, you're paying a high fee to potentially win a low purse.
Right.
So once you make it out of that stage, and it can take years to get out of that stage, you could be in a big hole financially. But these amateur tournaments are so good now. Like, there's people who, like me or like others, that want to not have golf as a job but are still good at golf. I mean, the US Am, the Palmer Cup for this Connecticut Am, all these AMs are unbelievable tournaments to play in. So, like I said, it's not like if I don't turn pro, I'm not going to be playing the golf game again. But I just love the networking side of things. Like, for example, the Rather Cup we played 2 weeks ago was one of the coolest experiences. You get to play all these top courses, meet people that I would never meet otherwise, and I think that's one of the beauties of the game, that golf, or being good at golf without being professional, can take you places pretty far, which is nice.
Well, Ben, we're rooting for you and your teammates the rest
Thank
of the fall, and then all spring, and hopefully ending with an SCAC championship next April.
Thanks so much.
That'll do it for this conversation in the Coop. For all the latest news, scores, and schedules, go to bantamsports.com. Follow us on social at Bantam Sports. Until next time.